Part 3, Mark, and Nick is here instead of Glenn, and Matt's there, and mate, the week ahead we have got, what have we got weather-wise? So solstice. We're on the way
Northern
back.
Solstice.
Oh, sorry?
Northern Solstice.
We're on the way back.
Yeah, Waterhouse Train Import.
Okay, winter solstice. Shortest day of the year is beyond us now. 2:32 this morning.
Oh,
We turned the corner.
That's right. So now it's going to get colder for a while, but I mean, we are on our way back.
Yeah.
Weather this week a bit better than last week.
Time for change.
And unfortunately, our tracks are all fucked.
Yeah. So,
but just have to deal with it.
What are we? No rain this week, or?
No. Little prospect of rain.
All right,
The damage has already been done, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it's in there. So it's Canterbury, Newcastle tomorrow, Tuesday, Canterbury Wednesday, Wyong Thursday, Roseville Saturday, Doomben and Flemington on Saturday as well. Matt, anything social media wise? Have we floated the idea yet about bonus payments for 60 kilo plus wins?
No, we haven't. That'll have to go out there. That could be huge.
That's huge. The Ashman-Taylor rule.
Well, yeah, I think Nick can claim
You're
that
just going to claim it?
No, I didn't have anything to do with that. But, that's great. It's awesome.
Jump on board, mate. Plenty of people take credit for things that they shouldn't do.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just trying to put you.
I love it. No, look, there's a lot of debate was about the brazen boat ride over social media on the weekend.
Okay, well, let's get into it. We'll get into Slaughter the Quarter soon, so you can get into it now. Yeah, so you two go. You saw it.
Yeah, no, look, he raced on his own down the side up the straight 6 at Ascot, and I think the key point is.
So, C. Williams Road?
Moreira didn't get clearance by Hong Kong, so they were stuck with Williams. Look, if you don't know the history of what happened at Carnival, what happened at Ascot, you'd think the ride's okay. But what I've heard off the right people who know Ascot, know straight 6 racing, is that you can't win without cover at that course, and especially that Carnival. Not one horse won on the inside rail.
And that's where he
the
was?
Whole Carnival.
Yeah.
And they chose to stay there while the rest of the field that were drawn wide all moved to the centre. Look, just coming into the centre, grabbing a bit of cover, I think there's definitely the difference between the long neck he got beaten and possibly it might have cost him 3 lengths. You don't know.
A couple of times we've tried to get a horse to the outside fence at Randwick, to get to the goal lanes on their own. They just don't tend to, when there's the pack there and they're on their own, they just don't tend to race right.
Well, Williams said, look, he lost concentration a few times out on his own.
Yeah. And I know, I heard Mark Guest on the radio again on this morning, who manages Craig Williams, who said, the horse has been trained to be on his own, it's been trained to be on its own. So it's fine to be training it to be on its own, but that's not training it to be on its own where he's there and he's got 20 mates over there and he's wondering, why am I here and I've got all those over there? And they're a pack animal.
You're on the SP favourite, you don't need to take a risk like that when it was there's no good evidence to say it was worthwhile. So look, a bit
have you heard from Mr. Waller yet? Like, has he said that it was instructions to do that? Or?
He said it was Craig's plan, and we backed Craig, and the horse ran out of its skin. He was not entirely happy.
I think he cried too.
Can I ask if it was a long neck? So if the horse
a long neck,
if the horse wins that race, are we hailing Craig Williams for his ride?
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Are we saying how good he is? So are we saying because he got beaten a long neck, all of a sudden it's a shit ride, whereas if he had have actually won that race by a nose, everyone would have said, oh, geez, how good was it?
I've heard a few people say that. And
that's the risk you run for being unorthodox.
Yes.
And I just think there was no reason to be unorthodox in that position.
I agree with that. There's no reason to be unorthodox.
If you're 20 to 1... And you think you found a fast lane? He walked the track and found the fast lane. Craig Williams knows it better than everyone, apparently. So he went against the grain of what
if that's the case, then I'd like to ask Craig why he kept going back to the inside when the inside was off there for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Maybe if you know where the fast lanes are, you know where the slow lanes are too.
That's a whole other thing, that is.
Anyway,
I was all right. There you go. That's me, but that's only my. But I do have to say this.
If I were to tell you that no one won on that side, no horse wins without cover at Ascot.
Yes.
If you didn't know that, would that change your opinion?
Yes, it would change my opinion.
Yeah, and that's
I watched the race, and what I found is, I find this a lot in those straight races and out here too, is that jockeys come out, they're all looking around at each other. There's a little bit of a scrimmaging going on, and the horses are looking for cover. They're all trying to get in behind each other and stuff. And when I watched Brazen Beau, he jumped. He didn't go left or right once. He was on a straight line the whole way, and I just thought that's got to be worth something. And I take the points that running on your own and all these pack animal stuff and all the rest of it. But I watched a couple other horses just being like this, being held up for a run and all the rest of it, and he was just
gun barrel straight.
Gun barrel straight. I don't know how much that's worth or anything else. But
Oh, look, it's all hypothetical, but
And theoretical.
theoretical.
It's not hypothetical. It did actually happen.
Yeah, hypothetically, if he went inside,
Yeah.
we don't know the result.
Well, you know, you
Then
just
we-
have
we
to watch
just-
that 2 mile race to watch those riders like they're all desperate for
they're all desperate for cover,
Covey,
aren't they?
poor old Covey.
Well, that's the thing. Look what happened out here a couple of weeks ago in that Stayers Cup. That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, well, that's right. One went too fast, the others went too slow, and
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle was the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any danger of any? But if you watch the jockeys early on that race, it's the same thing. They're all looking to go in behind someone.
Yeah.
Even
No, mate,
Planet
just-
Purple
Yeah.
was like trying to get cover at one stage. What? You're going to pull out and sprint past them?
Oh,
Planet
beautiful.
Purple couldn't sprint to the toilet if it had diarrhea.
But that won't be written either.
Horses to follow, Mark. Nick, I want to ask you about one of these. Marty. We'll get into track when you said Marty.
We had a conversation. You rang me last week. We were talking about Marty.
Yeah, she looks like she'll be ready about third or fourth up.
Yeah, I reckon second up. I'm happy to back
Now,
second up.
this is what we mentioned this earlier in the show. You probably didn't hear it. Mark was saying Gay's horses are normally revved, and we've mentioned about the orgies on because Gay's away and whatever. But it's probably not the case because of
The orgy. How does...
what's that?
nothing, no.
Anyway, but
That won't be written either.
Sex parties.
but I said to Mark that you've noticed some changes in the way Gay's getting. It's not all just the typical couple of barrier trials, rev first up, and then just keep building up in distance type thing. There's a bit more
I noticed
target.
that actually. I mentioned something on an interview with Andrew Bensley at the start of the Autumn Carnival. I noticed then that she was doing a few things different with the horses, and I've only been observing Gay in track work properly for sort of 15, 18 months now, so I don't have a 25-year history to go off here, but I just noticed that horses were, their work was a little bit more spaced, and that they were not quite as revved first up, but they were doing a bit sort of more, instead of the shorter, sharper stuff, which she was doing with the 2-year-olds, a little bit longer stuff. She was getting them ready, it looked like, for second up 1400 or a mile. So they were going to that 1200 metre race almost a bit dour, 1200 metres. And with Gay's horses, it's a real fine edge because she puts so much work into them that for her to win first up over 1200 metres, it's a real fine edge because they for me anyway, as a punter, I find they can almost be too dour for the 1200 first up.
Yeah, especially if you're thinking that she's now thinking rather than having right there go, then it's 14, 16
Once
second
upon
up.
a time, I think I don't know, you guys have been following her for a long time as well, but she'd have a bit of freshness in the horse and it'd come out, she'd do those 3 barrier trials, but then she'd back off them maybe for a few days, and they'd go there, they'd be a little bit fresh, they'd win first up, then they'd go second up and so on. Whereas now I think she's happy to let the first up run sort of, if it wins, if it doesn't, we've set a very good foundation for a second and third up run.
Because I would have almost thought Marty still got a lot of improvement.
Yeah, well, you guys were saying that on Saturday, weren't you?
Yeah.
Remember I spoke to you during the week and said I said second up, you guys were saying third up.
I'm thinking third up.
You
But
might
then
be
again,
right.
these guys, so they
If she goes 3 weeks between its next run and gives it a real hard gallop the Saturday before its next run, then I'm saying second up. If it's 2 weeks and it's just another, then I think you guys are on the money.
What, through the motions, going through
Throw them in the nations, another 2 weeks it'll be third up, like you say. But I'm sticking with second up.
And what do we have to report from track work, Nick? What are these?
Is the orgy on?
Hey?
Is the orgy on?
Is the orgy on?
Well, there's different things happen when Gay's away.
Look, no, not really.
It used to,
Not.
I think, but I don't
Maybe
know.
once. Look, Mark Noonan, I think if Gay hangs up the boots one day and Mark takes over, and I don't know if that's what's going to happen. But if Mark was ever to take over that stable, then I think he'll do a very good job.
Yeah, he's done an enormous job.
He's
Since
a
he stopped
fantastic
riding,
operator.
and the orgy has stopped since Mark stopped riding.
Yeah, it's different. He's got them screwed down. He'll yell at them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He'll get into a mark. Yeah. I've seen him. You know, he's obviously learnt from Gay.
Yeah.
But out of track work at the moment, look, Cafe Society is a horse, and Gay's got an import, which Gay wanted to run the horse in last year's sort of spring carnival, one of those 3 races, I think, big ones, and the owners didn't really want to, and the horse might have just had a little stone bruise or something like that, and they just decided to turn it out. It was going pretty good. It's come back this time even better.
How long is it off?
Well, it would have only had, we've been working out for about 2 months.
Right, but it hasn't raced since mid last year, yeah?
That's right, yeah. So it's had a long time off, but it's working really, really well. But these Europeans, the Europeans, they can do that, can't they?
I don't know.
They can have that 9 months off and then come back, especially the ones that get travelled out here.
I don't know, you would know, you're looking...
Yeah, I think they can anyway, but this thing's working really well, flying. I think she's going to try and set it for the Cups and the Cox Plate.
Oh, okay.
100 to 1 at the moment with some bookies.
That's serious.
If you're looking at a futures bet, it's not the silliest thing you can do. Horse has got to stay up.
Yeah,
obviously is the main issue. But
if it's 101, you don't have to do much on.
No. I mean, look, if the horse gets to the race, it's not going to be Gay Waterhouse trained import. It's not going to be 101.
No, it's not going to be 101 if it's starting in the race, is it? It's lovely. Anything for this week at all? Or?
Tomorrow, a horse called Zazumba for Anthony Cummings.
Yeah, well, what's the
castle?
At the castle, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it at all, Mark?
Yeah. Look, I declared it at Newcastle when I won at 900.
Yeah.
Because it was in a very, very weak field. Like, it had no form at that stage. The only time that I pricked my ears up at the horse was in that Hawkesbury Guineas, where he ran to the outside fence, and I went, you've actually done something there.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like,
he ran to the outside fence.
But it was like he was running around the field, and then he ran to the outside fence. And I'm thinking, that's much improved showing from you.
Yeah, he's coming along really well.
Is he behaving himself now?
Yeah, I mean, look, you never know. Track work's a bit different to race day, but I like the horse as a horse. Just you like a style of horse, you just see it, and it's got that nice rein about it, and I just like the way it gallops, and I don't think we've seen the best of it. And it's a 900 metre race again on Tuesday. It gets through the ground quite well, Mark. And where's the rail tomorrow?
Well, it was true on Saturday, so...
They hadn't worked out when I spoke to them, when I heard them say on Saturday morning.
For Newcastle?
Yeah, they'd be obviously published now. But,
I think he's not a bad bet there. Kimberley Star for Gay, the opening event on Wednesday in Canterbury. I think if we can just dry out a bit the track.
Went back first up. I didn't really understand. Not didn't necessarily win by going forward, but
I had a horse in the worst going came back
too. But just the way it was ridden sort of conservatively first up.
This could be another example of what we're talking about with Gay's horses. It's not all about trying to win first up in every single race. I don't know. I'm only guessing here as a punter, trying to get a read on Gay's horses, and I think perhaps they've gone to the races. I can't remember how many trials it had before that first up run. Does anyone remember? I can't remember. 2 trials over 1,000 rings a bell, which means it should have been ready for the 1,200 first up, you'd think, wouldn't it? But maybe they got to the race on the race day. It was bog track from memory. I don't know. I'm not too sure, but it certainly took me by surprise. And that came out the worst part of the going.
It's clearly in a perfect race.
So they're the 2 for this week, I'd suggest. And Bonfire on Saturday.
Bonfire's back.
Bonfire's back. It's going to be in the Winter Cup. I think it is one of those scurvy little 2,400 metre races. It resumed in the Hawkesbury Cup. Ran an OK race for the Hawkesbury Cup.
And where's it been since then?
It's done nothing since then. It's
so
second
Sunday,
up
7th of June.
metres. Yeah. Second up 2,400.
Second up 2,400.
So 3 weeks later, second up.
Yeah, it's no good, the setup. Its work though has been better than winter class.
Yeah.
It's like carnival kind of work. So, and he's done more than one gallop at it too. I don't know. It's not my recipe.
No, but still.
Second up, but I'm looking at the list of horses in that race.
Gay Waterhouse, a run short is a profitable betting situation. I think.
And this could be a classic case of that second up, but it is 2,400.
Yeah, second up. Yes. Anyway.
So they're the 2 from
there are a
track
couple
work.
of things. And of course, Nick, you can get your track work tips with Warren Huntley.
Yes.
Every week by going to one2follow.com.au. Just $10 a week. I haven't checked the scoreboard in the last couple of weeks, but you were leading it there for a while, for a long time.
Yeah.
In the profitability for everything we do, with basically a couple of tips from you for a Wednesday, a few from Warren of a Wednesday as well in Melbourne, and of course the Saturday ones, which is.
And we try and get out wide every
Yeah,
now
there's
and then.
occasion.
Newcastle tomorrow. There'll be one. There might be another one for Newcastle tomorrow.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's bloody good value for $10. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I can tell you, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, a few mornings, weeks, and go out there. Someone said they'd do it for me for $10 for a few winners.
Yeah,
Take them up
yeah,
and go.
absolutely, and it's not just you; it's Warren, so it's actually $5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, very good service. It's at the end of the day, it's winning. So to jump on by that, 12follow.com.au. Before we wrap up time, Mark, it's time for.
It's time for Slaughter of the Quarter.
Slaughter of the quarter.
Brought to you by Chinese Dave this week. Lily, you can have a week off with Chinese Dave having a big week last week.
Right, is C. Williams involved or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying
So
3 points.
Matt's used his vote.
Kobe Jennings on Planet Purple has to have 2 points, doesn't he? It was
I'm
just
thinking 1 point.
1 point.
Magic Hurricane, Brody Lloyd.
Brody Loy. Perhaps.
And you could even throw in Kobe. Kobe is a dual offender. My Sabille, I don't know what he was thinking there. Clearly the horse is...
He's
doesn't
really have
happening.
it. Doesn't really have it, young Jennings doesn't.
I reckon Thomas UA wouldn't it be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice straight into the middle of the worst ground?
He's the only horse to find the worst ground or in that race.
Yeah, that's
so
right,
I think
yeah.
that then singles him out
Yeah.
as the worst ride in that race.
Absolutely. I think that's a fair call.
Happy with that.
Yeah, lovely. Perfect,
Okay,
all right.
so
Lovely.
we've got 4.
Well, it was an international vote. And Danny Beasley, he's got a few weeks off for calling the meeting on.
Right.
Yeah.
Danny down
Called
there.
the meeting on.
Yeah.
He's
What,
riding
so
all right,
even
He did.
Saturday morning
He's
they're
riding
going,
all
oh, can we race?
Oh, yeah, no, there was actually, they had, the gallop was...
Weather fine.
Yeah, the gallop was due at 6 o'clock. They held it back to 7 because they wanted to see it, and all the build up.
Oh,
Danny
that's
Beasley.
why there was no there was a few scratchings. They were sort of holding out, hoping that they wouldn't have to pay the scratchings.
Oh, this is something both Nick and I are passionate about, and as I tweeted out on Saturday morning, or whenever it was, big thank you to all the trainers, where the track was never going to be anything other than heavy, almost called off.
36 scratchings.
36 scratchings. There was 9 on Friday afternoon, so where the big change came from running your horses between there and then, thank you.
Well,
great system.
Okay, all right. That's what you say is valid. Apart from the fact that I assume that if the meeting is called off, there's no charge, and if the meeting is called on, they have to pay the scratching fee.
Oh, they have to pay a scratching. Okay.
So they're just hoping that the the meeting's called off.
But-
Those that scratched.
Yeah, but the thing is though too,
Why
and
would you accept for a meeting hoping it's going to be called off?
Well, they accepted on Wednesday morning, and the bit of rain around on Tuesday night was certainly enough for them to start saying heavy, but it wasn't. It was later in the piece.
They were hoping for an upgrade.
Yeah,
Is what you're saying.
yeah. Well, it was far enough
But
out.
that's like marrying a bloke and expecting him to change. How many of us have pulled that line saying, no, you knew what you were getting yourself into?
Right, so what, you've been through a few because you've said that, have you?
You know what? I think I've done my time here.
Pearl of wisdom. Bring.
When you see a field invert, a la race 8 at Randwick on Saturday, be very wary of that form.
When you see a field, sorry,
Invert.
what's that mean?
So it wasn't a total inversion in that the horses at the back became the horses at the front, but the horses in the back half became the horses in the front half.
Yes.
Finish. So we saw Pythagorean Role Model, Vergara, Laurie's Love, Keep Cool, and that was pretty much it. We went on
Georgie.
Hollywood Bound.
Wasn't Georgie up? No, he was.
No, Georgie was rails midfield. So I'm saying that the horses in the front half of the field were, in order, Pythagorean Role Model, Vergara, Laurie's Love, Hollywood Bound, Keep Cool. They then retired to the back half of the field. And I'm suggesting that an inversion of the field, now that's not, as I say, that's not the supreme inversion, because the supreme inversion will be first goes to last and last goes to first.
Yep.
But I'm suggesting that makes the form very, very, very suspect.
And why does that, Mark? Explain that. I'm quite interested. Is that just because you know they've gone too hard in front?
Something like that, or basically the vanguard of on-pace horses have retired. So the other horses just run past them.
Yes, they haven't
that-
necessarily run fast sectionals. They've just gone past.
Well, they
the
haven't,
horses.
been taken over from a leader that was going well or anything like that.
Okay.
Yes, they've all gone shit, and then they've just
They've just
flopped
retired
over the top of them.